Morning, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, June 19th, 2024, and I'm here at Cuyamaca Rancho State Park for the first time since May of 2023. Today, I'm at the Green Valley day use area within the greater Green Valley Campground. My goal today is to get back up to Cuyamaca Peak for my third time. So what I'm planning on doing is trying to hike up it via various trails coming up here from Green Valley. I'm going to try to attempt to see if I can get up to a couple of other lower summits along the way. For instance, I want to try to get up to Airplane Ridge, which is a ridge line south of Cuyamaca. Top of it's about 5,000 to 5,040 feet. And then hopefully making a side trip to Japacha Peak, which is on the south shoulder of Cuyamaca. It's a very small bump on the south side of Cuyamaca, and I believe it's an HPS peak, Sierra Club. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that. And I'm going to apologize in advance if this ends up being a super long video. It probably will be. Just be aware. But I'm going to go ahead and start looking for the Arroyo Seco Fire Road. Follow that and then branch right on a trail and start heading up the mountain. So I'll see you along the way and keep you updated about all the interesting things that should pop up today. Alright, so I'm going to enter the Arroyo Seco Fire Road. It's so beautiful out here. Nice cool morning out here. It's probably in the low 50s. We're in a valley, so cool air sinks here, so it feels so nice. Beautiful Jeffrey and Coulter pines. I've always admired this Jeffrey pine. Always admired it. So today, let's see if I can find the trail. It's supposed to be a trail that branches off to the right and starts heading up the hill. I'm guessing it's going to be the west side trail. I believe it's the west side trail, so we'll see. Whatever it is, my trail is going to branch off to the right. So this starts my next adventure in the mountains. Probably my last one for a while, considering that we're going to be in for a big warm-up next week. So that's most likely going to be meaning for me going back to coastal canyon hikes probably. Which is, it's fine. I love my coastal canyons. It's going to be too hot in the mountains for a lot of really good hiking, unless I want to go all the way out to Big Bear. Here's an interesting looking canyon live oak. Very interesting looking little canyon live oak. So we're starting here at about 3,950 or so feet in elevation. Eventually to hopefully make it all the way up to 6,512 foot Cuyamaca Peak. Airplane Ridge is going to be somewhere over that way. That's going to be about a good 1,100 feet elevation gain just to get up there. Because I am starting from a low elevation. This is the lowest elevation that I've ever started to climb up the Cuyamaca. Last time I started at 4,650 foot at that elevation to get up to Cuyamaca via the Trout Pond Trailhead at the little sharp hairpin at 79, pretty close to Cuyamaca Lake. And then the first time I did it from Paso Picacho at 4,870 feet. So, however, estimating my elevation gain today will probably be close to 26, probably about 2,600 feet. And it's going to be probably at least an 11-mile hike, provided I make it all the way up to Cuyamaca. If I have the stamina today. So we'll see. This will be the longest hike I've done in a while. Even though my vacation 2 weeks ago totaled, everything together totaled nearly 21 miles, but it was spread out over 3 days of hiking. It was close to 21 miles, maybe about 20 and a half. So we'll see how this goes today. I'm carrying quite a heavy pack because we are going to be getting well up into the 70s at Mount Laguna's elevation, which is about 5,800 feet. We're just coming back down here. Will probably be quite warm today. I usually use Mount Laguna's forecast as a reference to what the hiking weather will be in the San Diego County mountains. It'll be definitely warmer down here at just under 4,000 feet. So I believe my trail's coming up already. Let's see. I'm going to apologize in advance if this does end up being a really long video. But here's the next trail junction, right over here, and I believe this is where I'm going to be going off. Let me go look around here. Let's see. West Side Trail to Monument Trail. I think that's going to be the Airplane Ridge Monument. So I'm going to go ahead and start working my way up. So this is the West Side Trail. And one thing about Cuyamaca and Point Leaf Manzanita go together hand and root. Arctostaphylos pungens. There's gonna be a lot of this. There's a lot of this here in Cuyamaca. So expect to be seeing a lot of that today. It'd be cool if I find some outsized specimens. Ooh, and then yarrow. The beautiful yarrow is blooming right now too. And this is the white yarrow, Achillea millefolium. And it's blooming here along the side of the trail, which is really cool. So we're in the mountains, so there should definitely still be some wildflowers. At first I thought this was some kind of pickleweed, but I think it might be wintercress. It might be Barbaria orthoceros, I believe. I think that's wintercress. I'd recognize if it weren't in bloom, but that's what it looks like. All right. Well, away I go on my next journey. Come along with me. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting day. Never isn't when I'm in the mountains, that's for sure. All right. See you along the way up. I'm carrying a pretty heavy pack today. A lot of water. And I also pre-hydrated before coming out here. So I already chugged down a water. Not from my pack, but from in my car. So I keep extra water with me. Yeah. See how much chaparral whitethorn is growing alongside the trail here. A lot of chaparral whitethorn, undoubtedly having come up after 2003 cedar fire almost 21 years ago. Yep. This is a very beautiful trail. I know I'm going to be passing through pockets of woods, chaparral, woods and chaparral, and I'm going to be passing through a few decent-sized meadows from the imagery I saw on Google Earth. So, getting this is going to be a very diverse landscape I'm going to be enjoying today. So be prepared as I go through here and explore. So as I'm ambling along this, it's going down, actually going downhill quite a bit on the way here, but I think what's going to happen is, in that last picture, you maybe saw that ridge sloping down to the right on the last picture. I believe what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be rounding to the south side, the south toe of that ridge, which should be Airplane Ridge. I think that's what this trail is going to do. So I'm going to be going to the southern toe of it, which is on the right side. I think that's what the trail is going to do, I believe. I think that's what happens here. And then it's going to start going up the ridge, I believe. So we'll see. And I am already at my next trail junction. Okay. So I could have come up from this way too. So I'm going to keep on this. I could probably actually hike out this way on the way back. This will take me to the campground, so I could probably do that. But I'm going to continue this way. Continue on the west side trail. My next trail junction will be at about 1/10 of a mile, according to that. I think it was 1/10 or 2/10 of a mile. Otherwise, a very short distance ahead. So, yes, we will see. All right, time to reach the next trail junction. All right, so West Side Trail keeps going that way to Highway 79, and it's going to head to the Airplane Monument. So what I want to do is maybe check that out, but my main goal is get up to Airplane Ridge, which is above it. So let's see how this goes. And that's a little under, yeah, it's about a 1.75 miles from here almost. So let's see. All right, well, keep you posted as I take this beautiful hike up here, passing by some beautiful Quercus acutidens. Nice scrub oak over here. So, as I was mentioning, should be quite a diverse landscape, or array of landscapes. So I mentioned chaparral woodland, which I've already encountered significant amounts of. Like this southern coast live oak right here, Quercus agrifolia, variety Oxyodania. Trees have obviously survived the cedar fire. Do have some beautiful southern coast live oaks here. What do we got here? A nice coulter pine too. Beautiful tree. Some young coulters over here too. So I've already experienced chaparral. I've experienced the woodland, and I will be experiencing meadow environments as well. So I will be seeing meadows. And then there should be an element of conifer forest too, because I will be climbing up, provided I make it that far today, depending on, like I said, my stamina. If I make it up to Cuyamaca, there should be some conifer forest too. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Ooh, some Indian campion or Indian catchfly. Silene laciniata, subspecies laciniata. Such a cool plant. Beautiful, beautiful plant. And we've got these guys here, bird's beaks, which is Cordylanthus rigidus subspecies setigerus. These guys, very common alongside trails. Oh, and of course, white sage, Salvia apiana. So yeah, I'm trying to keep my clips a little shorter in this video so I don't end up making a 3 or 4 hour video. But there definitely will be the element of botanizing, so this video probably will be long, but I'm going to try to keep my clips a little more succinct. San Diego sweet pea too. Look at that. Atheris vestitus variety Elipheldii. Still blooming. Another southern coast live oak woodland. So, all right. Oh, nice. Nice white sage. All right. Let's see what other botanical treats I'm going to find today. Looks like we got Weeds Mariposa lily over here. This is Calicortus weedy variety weedy. I saw another purple flower one, which I assume was Calicortus splendens. But yeah, now we got Weeds Mariposa lily up here too. Pretty cool. And we still got golden yarrow. Well, golden yarrow is starting to go out of bloom now. And this is Eriophyllum confertiflorum variety confertiflorum, which is related to the common yarrow, Achillea millefolium, albeit not super duper closely. But they are members of the sunflower family, the Asteraceae. Still got some blooms on this golden yarrow here though. Here's more of that catchfly, Indian catchfly. So cool to see that up here. All right. So, just as I suspected, we are starting to round the south side of the ridge. And it should start making an ascent line up it in a little bit. And I'll just keep enjoying these pockets of woodlands. And now we're climbing out of the valley, the temperatures have gone up. And here's the white yarrow again. So golden yarrow and white yarrow along this trail. So let's see. But yeah, we are climbing out of Green Valley. So yeah, the temperature has gone up a bit. It's not bad or anything, it's just already got a good sweat going. It's to be expected. It's June in the mountains. I'm glad I'm getting this in because next week it's going to be too warm. It's going to be like in the mid to upper 80s at Mount Laguna's elevation, which is just under 6,000 feet. So I'm glad I'm doing this now. Next week will probably be a more coastal location. All right, getting some good views across over there. We're looking at Oaks Anita Peak. Beautiful Cuyamaca Peak, a hike I did back in April of last year. That was a fantastic hike. Every hike I've taken here in Cuyamaca has been fantastically beautiful. Down there, I believe that's Highway 79. I believe that's the Harvey Moore trailhead right there. You have to pay to park there. I parked in Green Valley, so I paid to park anyways. But I wanted a spot that was off the highway. So I parked in the day use area. So that worked out for me very well, actually. It usually does. I don't mind spending $10, especially if it goes towards the California state parks, so it's worth it in my opinion. Very much worth it. All right. Well, let's see where we start making the serious beeline up the ridge. Starting to curve towards it right now, actually. So we should be on a steady ascent. I'd assume for probably the rest of the first half of the hike, the peak climbing portion. So we'll see. Whoa. Really startled some lizard. All right, I'll see you up the way. So first California black oak of the day, Quercus kalagi. So looks like a hefty resprout, probably from the cedar fire. Pretty cool. Yeah, this trail definitely doesn't waste any time. A lot of bugs right now too. I wasn't thinking about that this morning, but yeah, definitely some bug action going on right now. All right. Here's another caveat we got to watch out for. Western poison oak. It's actually a really interesting shrub right here. It grows right over the trail, so watch where you go. We're low enough in elevation to still have it as a factor. And it's going to be that way. Possibility. That's the first one I've seen, though. That's the first one I've seen so far on this hike. The plant I saw further back that had the 3 leaflets is it's related and relatively benign skunk brush, Rhus aromatica. So a lot of that lower down, especially in the Green Valley area. All right, Saca peyote. Got it up here too, huh? Cortea microcephala. Oh yeah, still hasn't bloomed yet, so not quite time for spotlight. Maybe in the lower elevations closer to where I live, it should be already blooming by now. All right, what else awaits? Be prepared to hear a lot of humming on my camera because there are a lot of bugs out here today. Be prepared. You might be hearing a lot of sounds. Yeah. Once I hit one pocket about a quarter of a mile back, it just became bug crazy. And I got a big old swarm of flies of different sizes all around me right now. So probably will hear a little bit of that humming on the camera. Oh wow. Yeah, this is an insanely beautiful hike. When I say insanely beautiful, I mean it. Chaparral's really getting tall again. The trees are coming back. It's all a big W here at Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. My first visit here in 2024. First time hiking here, so definitely enjoying it. Getting some good valley views. Still looking back towards Cuyamaca. I think it's the East Mesa area over there. And I'm hiking up here, trying to get up Airplane Ridge. So we'll see. We'll see what the scene's like once I get up there. Airplane Ridge itself doesn't have a lot of prominence, but it is a little local ridgeline high point. And then it kind of dips, and then it starts ascending over towards the south shoulder of Cuyamaca. So it kind of rises up somewhat gently to slightly over 5,000 feet. I think between 5,000 and 5,040 is where the high point of Airplane Ridge is. Then it goes down maybe about 50 feet, and then it starts climbing up towards Japacha and Cuyamaca Peaks. I will have to watch a couple trail junctions on the way up to make sure I get on the right trail to head to Cuyamaca Peak. So I'm going to have to kind of, once I get past Airplane Ridge is where I will have to really pay attention where I'm going. So we'll see. Very beautiful hike so far. Very buggy, but it has to be expected in spring, summer in the mountains. So just take it and don't let it ruin your day. I'm sure as heck not gonna let it ruin my day. All right, keep you updated. Got a pretty good perspective. Very different perspective of Cuyamaca Peak. Still probably got more than 2,000 feet of climbing before I get up there. I believe that's Japacha. That should be Japacha Peak right there. What's going to happen is once we get up towards the Japacha Peak area, there's going to be a big, very long switchback. And at the switchback corner should be some kind of a use trail to get up there. So we'll see if I can find it. It's supposed to be a little bit of bushwhacking, I believe, but I think there is some type of a hiker's path to get to Japacha. So we'll see how that works out. Till then, onward and upward. Alright, so as I'm still climbing, noticing a lot of young pines. Look like mostly coulters here. Lots of young coulter pines coming up over here. Looks like we're heading towards a very small notch or something over here. Just curious what's up there. Well, we'll see. But yeah, some vigorously growing young pine trees. I don't know if they were planted or if they came out naturally. But yeah, as I was trying to finish recording that clip, one of the flies bit me on the finger and it actually hurt. Not like severely, but it was definitely a stinging sensation. Ooh-wee, that was kind of annoying actually. So yeah, it's nice to see some pine trees down there. Alright. Lots of bugs out here today. It's actually getting much worse as I climb up the ridge a little bit. Oh, we've hit a small plateau. So I think I'm towards that notch right now. Very beautiful here though. Very beautiful. Looks like wow. Bugs are aggressive today. Alright, well, I'm getting closer to the, looks like I'm starting to get to the higher ramparts of the ridge, so we'll see. I wonder if bug spray would even do any good. Oh well. Keep on going. Keep you updated. Very beautiful up here. Ooh, looks like we got large flowered mountain dandelion, I believe. Yeah, I think this is Agaceras grandiflora, variety grandiflora, I believe. Yeah, it's like the large flowered one. The one I usually see is Agaceras retorsa, which I pointed out a few times on my hikes during my vacation in the San Bernardino and Angeles National Forests. But that one looks like Agaceras grandiflora, variety grandiflora. I believe it's divided up into variants. But yeah. Oh, looks like we're gonna get a little overgrown over here. Yeah. Yeah, I think this one is Agaceras grandiflora, variety grandiflora. Pretty sure that's what that one is. A little bit bigger than Agaceras retorsa. A bigger plant, larger leaves, much larger flower head. It's a sunflower family plant, so it has a flower head. All right. Well, let's keep this adventure going. Here's the other Mariposa lily. I believe this is Calocortus splendens. I know the one in the low elevations that I pointed out last month in Tierrasana, the unnamed canyon hike I did. And I believe at Penasquitos Canyon, I believe this is still the same thing. It's got that kind of light palish purple flower. I think that's what that is. And yeah, some more coulter pines. So yeah, these trees are really getting big. Oh, wow. My head is covered in bugs right now. Ooh-wee. Yeah, this is pretty rough. But, yeah, look at this. So worth it to be up here in the mountains, though. It's just an inconvenience I'll have to deal with. All right. See you up the way with more. Coming up on a junction right now. Still on the Monument Trail. All right. So now, to Arroyo Seco Trail. So, the airplane monument is supposed to be 0.2 miles this way. What I was intending to do was go up Airplane Ridge. So I think what I'm supposed to do is take the West Mesa Trail. And I think what it does is it's going to go to the left of Airplane Ridge. And then when I start getting close to the high point, there's supposed to be a relatively open area where I'm going to leave the trail briefly and ascend to the top of Airplane Ridge. So I think I'm supposed to take the left fork. To get to Cuyamaca Peak, I can use the Burnt Pine Trail. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the West Mesa Trail. I think this is going to take me on the left side, which is the west, I believe the west side, yeah, the west side of Airplane Ridge's summit. And then when I get to a really open area near where the high point is where I'm going to leave the trail. And it's going to be a brief cross-country climb. I don't know if there's going to be any rock scrambling. I don't think there's going to be too much of that. If there is, then, you know, it's just what I got to do. So, looks like it's about a mile and a half to the Burnt Pine Trail. And that should be towards the higher ramparts of Cuyamaca Peak itself. So, making some pretty good progress. That last mile and a half went by pretty quickly, to be honest with you. Especially for going uphill. It'll probably go a lot slower on the way back when it's hot and I'm sweaty, tired, and ready to sit my butt in the car. But Sometimes you got to do what you got to do if you want to get up to some peaks and have some fun. All right, we'll see what happens. Southern mule's ears in bloom. Waiethia ovata. All right, pretty cool. All right. Woo! Bugs are crawling all over me. Yeah, tickling me. Woo, boy. All right. All right. I don't think it'll be that much longer before I'm on top of Airplane Ridge. There's Noble Stonewall. Right over there. All right. So I'm gonna look for a trail departure over here eventually. We'll see. Oh yeah, young coulter pines everywhere now. Cool. Very cool. Wow, look at this. And this is all Ceanothus palmeri, by the way, Palmer Ceanothus. It was all in bloom earlier this month and last month. Yeah, getting a nice little taste of conifer action. You never get enough of that, by the way. Now there's some more moderate, more medium-sized trees up this way. These are mostly very young trees here. Probably not even half my age. All right. Very beautiful. So it looks like I'm getting quite high up here on the ridge. So, not 100% sure, but I'm thinking it's going to be time for me to start looking for the off-trail portion. So I am pretty high up on this ridge. I believe when this trail starts going downhill, that's probably where I'm going to leave the trail and go cross country to the top. I think I'm almost there, actually. So let's see. Oh, this trail's overgrown over here. All the rain. There's Pine Ridge over there. Been up on that one once. Did that in May or April of last year. So now what I got to do is start looking for an off-trail ascent. We're almost at the higher portion of this trail here, which means once this starts going downhill, then we'll have probably passed the summit area. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start leaving the trail here right by this patch of rock, because the trail's going to start going downhill now. Once I'm done, I'm going to get back on this trail and continue downhill. Here's something interesting. I didn't realize Chalk Dudleya grew at nearly 5,000 feet. That looks like Chalk Dudleya to me. Dudleya pulverulenta. I didn't know it grew at nearly 5,000 feet. We're probably like 48 or 4,900 feet right now in elevation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave the trail and try to just book it up here, I guess. Yeah, Chalk Dudley is blooming too, so I mean, spotlight video time is coming up soon. All right, so I'm going to see which of these looks best to leave the trail, and I'm going to start walking cross country up this. So here we go. Time for the off-trail portion. Here's a fat Chalk Dudleya. Dang! That thing is huge. That's a huge Dudleya pulverulenta. There's a whole population over here. How sick is that? That is crazy. Some big old ones too. That is awesome. That is so cool. I suspect I'm getting near the summit. Should be there pretty soon. Well, I think these might be scarlet larkspurs. This might be Delphinium cardinale. These are going to be red flowered ones. All right. And western chokecherry. Right up here. There's some really cool old Dudleys up here. All right. There is some light rock scrambling. So just kind of just watch your step when you're up here. Nothing more than some of the most basic class 2, so nothing to really get worried about. But I'll basically see you at the top when I get past this patch of yucca here. Hespero yucca whippley, chaparral yucca that is. All right, this looks like this is it. Here I am. Just looking for the highest point I can find. This appears to be it here. This is it. Airplane Ridge. 5,000 to 5,040 feet. So this is it. This is Airplane Ridge. This is the summit right here. Really cool. Really nice. Really cool. So we're just a sliver above 5,000 feet. Probably like 5,030 or so, roughly. So yeah, this is it. This is Airplane Ridge. All right. Another summit visited in Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. I don't know if there's going to be a summit register up here. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to spend a humongous amount of time up here. But I will kind of look around to see if I see any summit register or anything, which I don't think there is. But this is the highest point before it dips about 50 or 60 feet before we resume climbing up towards that. It should be Japacha Peak right there at 5,825, and the Cuyamaca is above there. I can see the towers up there. So I'd say it was about a 1,150, maybe 1,200 foot climb to get up here. So I did have a fair amount of downhill on the way out from the campground here. There was a fair amount of downhill, so yeah. So basically my trail is going to be going kind of zigzagging around, and then it's going to go make a couple switchbacks and do a really big switchback on the back side of Japacha, and then that's where I'm going to leave the trail and hopefully find a climber's path to do the remaining short distance to the top of Japacha. But this is Airplane Ridge. So I guess what I'll do is let's do a quick 360. Views, kind of have to walk around the summit, but there are some pretty good views up here, I'm not going to lie. Pretty nice views up here on Airplane Ridge. So I'm going to go ahead and start by looking east towards the Laguna Mountains. I can see Monument and Hayes Peak over there. So I'm going to go ahead and swing it around counterclockwise. More of the Laguna Range. Now we're looking more towards the north-ish. Up towards Cuyamaca and Japacha. Around west to a Southern Coast live oak. And then I'm going to swing it around to the south. I can see, I can see Guatay Mountain. Guatay Mountain right there. Los Pinos Mountain and Corte Madera. And then there's Long Valley Peak, another one I still have to climb. And then I'll swing it back around to close out the 360. All right, I think what I'll do is probably get a sip of water up here before starting to head back down to the trail. I'm gonna probably go close to the same route, or close to it as I can, and then start resuming my hike. All right, I'm just about back at the trail. Boy, bugs are really biting today. All right, so I just kind of have to make this last little scramble down to the trail here. Should be back at it in a matter of seconds. Maybe I'll go around this way instead. I won't have to scramble any rocks. Use this chaparral yucca for a little balance. Or not. Okay, well. Yeah, that didn't happen. Okay, back on the trail. So I'm back just nearly where I left it. Left it going up this here. All right, that's it. Now it's time to keep getting bitten and chewed up and stuck by fly proboscises. All right. So Airplane Ridge. Pretty cool. Glad I made it up there. All right. Time to keep on trekking. So as I was walking along, my arm rubbed up against a Palmer ceanothus bush on the side of the trail, and I noticed it's got this sticky yellow resinous looking stuff on me. So I was kind of checking out some of the other Palmer ceanothus shrubs in the area. Their seed capsules are greasy. I didn't realize it. So I don't know if it's sap or leftover nectar or whatever it is, but boy, got all over my arm. Tried wiping it off a little bit with some wipes. Then we got a skunk brush up here, Rhus aromatica, and it's got fruit all over it. It's our other three-leaf sumac relative that looks like poison oak, but it's not. And you can tell by the red fruit on it. And the leaflets are a bit smaller, and the leaflet on top of the three doesn't have a long stalk like poison oak does. Alright. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, the bugs are really out in full force today. So the trail hasn't really started started going downhill. But yeah, I was just up there. So it looks like it actually goes uphill a little bit more. So I want to double make sure that wasn't a false summit I visited. I don't think it is. Yeah, because I was back that way on Airplane Ridge. Yeah, I didn't see anything higher than it. I had a clear enough view to the north to tell I didn't have any higher summit ahead of me. All right. So, well, now we're gonna start heading down. Yeah. Palmer ceanothus seed capsules are sticky. I didn't realize that. We should start to descend. And we're starting to descend now. And then once we get down there, then it's going to be there is going to be a little element of making sure I navigate the right way. But these trails are fairly well signed, so pretty confident I'll be able to find the right trail, because there are going to be a network of trails that go around this side and that side. I'm trying to go on that side, but on the right track that'll lead me to Cuyamaca. Very beautiful here, but very buggy. This time of year, be prepared. Bugs are going to be bugging. This is the worst I've ever experienced bugs in my hiking. The second to last was my last time up Cuyamaca Ridge back in August 2020, before the bobcat fire burnt. Just a mere week or two before that area burnt. The bugs on the way up Cuyamaca Ridge were really bad, but this is worse. This is actually worse. Yeah, that Cuyamaca Ridge hike, I should probably re-edit it into one single video instead of the 20 clips I did. If I could find that video, I could re-edit it and include the pictures I take. Because even back then, when I didn't have a video editor, I would still take pictures on my hikes. Maybe a little bit less so than I do now, but I would take pictures, because I'd upload my hikes on a website called peakery.com, where you could log your peak climbs. But it was an awesome hike. Very awesome hike. And I'm starting to think now, maybe I didn't summit yet. Maybe that was a false summit. But I'm still kind of going uphill. A little bit. But I don't remember the peak being that close to the drop off towards. Nah, I was on it, because I did have to climb uphill quite a bit more than I'm doing now. So, like I said, backside here of Airplane Ridge doesn't have a lot of prominence. Surprisingly, as big as that looks, Japacha Peak, that peak also doesn't have a lot of prominence either. Looks like it from here, because you can see it's got steep drop-offs on both sides, but on the back side of it is connected by a very shallow saddle between it and Cuyamaca. So let's see how this works. All right. Yeah, so that's where I was. That right there is Airplane Ridge. So I was definitely higher than I am now. That's it, it's not a lot of prominence. I probably did most of the drop off already. And now it's going to be mostly uphill still. All right, well, keep you posted on my progress. Start linking up some trails. I'm going to start heading up that way. All right, we're about at the next junction. That's the Arroyo Seco Trail. That goes down to Fox Trail and Arroyo Seco Primitive Camp. So let's see what we got here. Nothing, okay. Let's see. West Mesa Trail. So this is where I'm going to go. Burnt Pine Trail is a half a mile. Fern Flat Fire Road is 1.3 miles, but I don't think I'm going to be on that. So I'm going to keep going to the Burnt Pine Trail. The Burnt Pine Trail should lead up to the top of Cuyamaca. Not exactly the summit, but it should lead up to the Lookout Fire Road, which should present the last bit of climbing to Cuyamaca. So let's see. All right, entering a little grove of coulter pines. Pretty cool. Just caught a whiff of the pine smell. It's good fragrance to have. Oh, here's a nice little woodsy part right here. Very beautiful. All right. Nice little coulter pine mini forest here. All right. It's a pretty dense thicket of coulter pines here. All right. Whew. See you up the way. All right, so been working my way. There was a nice little passage of wooded area. The poison oak gets pretty close to the trail, so just watch out. Another spot of it. But now we're kind of in the rolling hill / meadow portion now. You can hear cicadas buzzing out here. It's that time of year. Bugs aren't quite as bad right now. I think I might have made myself a little less tasteful by putting a slab of sunscreen on. It's not stopping them from hovering. All right. We're getting close to a patch of only partially burnt forest up ahead. That should be interesting. Japacha's up that way. That'll be the start of the south shoulder of Cuyamaca Peak. Get some nice views out towards the Laguna Mountains opening up. Again, that above the tree in the middle, that's where Corte Madera on the right and Los Pinos Mountain are on the left. Yeah, this is cool. Now we're in the grassland / meadow section of the hike. Might be more, but yeah. In and out of chaparral, recovering woodland. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then mixed conifer and oak woodland or forest should be up ahead. Oh wow, look at all the coulter pines down there. That's a lot of coulter pine. They have really taken root very nicely on this southeast side of Cuyamaca Peak. Very nicely. That's looking towards East Mesa over there. Ever since leaving Airplane Ridge, I've been climbing pretty steadily. Yeah, trail's a little bit overgrown, but still pretty obvious underfoot. So wouldn't worry about losing it, I don't think. So far in my experience, it's been pretty simple to follow. It's just very faint under all this grass. Ooh, Velvety false lupine. Thermopsis californica varieties Samota. This whole patch of it right here. Past bloom, of course. Last month would have been a better time to see it in bloom. A lot of little grasshoppers. And you can smell it. California rose just up the hill. Right there, a little rose patch. Yeah, the trail does get actually starts getting very faint here. There's another plant you don't want to brush up. This is hoary nettle right here. Urtica dioica subspecies holoceracea. That'll give you a nice burn and itching later on. Dang! Look at all these little grasshoppers. They're just going crazy. They're just all over the place. That's crazy. All right. Wow. Yeah, the trail is very faint, but I can see it ahead of me. I can see it snaking its way through this grassland. Looks like a nice big canyon live oak over there, too. Wow, yeah, this is neat. This is a whole different experience. I haven't really spent a lot of time in the Cuyamaca meadows. There are a lot of meadows in this mountain range. And there are quite a few in the lagunas off that way, too. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah, that looks like a big canyon live oak. All right. Or if I bet you it's got big trunks in there too. I'm not going to step too much off the trail here, especially because it's sunny, it's June. I already kind of took a risk climbing up to Airplane Ridge, rattlesnakes, so I'm going to try to stay on trail as much as possible. That's a nice, very open grown canyon live oak. Obviously it doesn't need to grow tall. It doesn't need to compete with other trees, but it looks like there's some big trunks in there. Yeah, actually some pretty hefty trunks. Yeah, oh yeah. There's some large, it looks like there's some large trunks in there. A beautiful tree too. What a gorgeous tree. All right. Up I go. It's very gentle here though. Very gradual. There were some moderately steep spots on the way up, but it has mellowed out. It's not too bad here. It's uphill, but it's not extremely steep. Should probably start doing some zigzags, some long zigzags. So I gotta get up there. That's Japacha. And that's looking back at Airplane Ridge right there. That's where I was just a little while ago. All right, this clip's getting long enough. I will see you on the next one. Looks like we got a foothill penstemon here. Looks like it's a variant of Penstemon heterophyllus. This one's hairless. It's hairless, so I gotta double check what variant it is, because one of them is, I think, is Penstemon heterophyllus, variety heterophyllus, and there should be an australis variant, foothill penstemon. One of them is hairless and one of them is hairy. These ones are glabrous or hairless. So the name should be in the screen, So I should have already put the name on the screen while addressing the plant. All right, well, still going. Starting to get the whiff of pine in the air as I'm making my way. Oh yeah, swallowtail. Ooh, what a beauty. Hello. Hello. West Mesa Trail. Nothing on this side. Okay. Now I think this is where we get a few junctions kind of might make this kind of confusing. There's a trail here. So this is the Burnt Pine Trail. So the West Mesa Trail, I'm not going to go this way. It goes to Fern Flat Fire Road and the California Riding Hiking Trail and the Fur Trail. So I'm not going that way. I'm going to go look at this sign over here and see what it says. Pretty sure this is the way I'm going to want to go. There's a lot of foothill penstemon here. Let's see. So to get to Cuyamaca Peak, I still got a good nearly 3 3/4 miles to go. So I got a ways to go to get up to Lookout Road is 3.3 miles and Cuyamaca Peak is 3.7. So I got a ways to go. I mean a ways to go. All right, so I'm going to enter the woods and it's time for some bugs. Whoa, look at this. What we got growing over here? Oh yeah, more of that Thermopsis californica variety Samota. It's going into seed. These are the seed pods developing on it. It's a legume, Fabaceae family. Oh, here's nice little copse of coulter pines here. I saw some incense cedars up ahead too. I don't know if this trail's going to go up to them, but when we get higher up towards the peak, we should be able to see some of that. Yeah, there's a lot of this velvety false lupine along the side of the trail here. Trail does get pretty indistinct at times. You really have to watch it, but if you pay attention enough, you'll be able to follow it. It's just slightly overgrown, or actually quite overgrown. Yeah, here we go. Some survivors from the cedar fire. Some beautiful coulter pines, of course. And then, even got some incense cedars in there. Some Calisandrus decurrens action. So we got some incense cedars up here. Alright, so now we're going to start curving up the hill. Now we got some bigger coulter pines here. We might have some ponderosa. Might have some ponderosa showing up. Yeah. That might be a Pacific ponderosa right there, actually. Yeah, I got a bigger coulter pine here. Insects are really biting hard today. Yeah, here's a nice older coulter pine right here. All right. All right. All right. Keep you posted. I got a ways to go. Ways to go. Yeah, so I'm hiking out here. This kind of reminds me almost a little bit of parts of the Los Padres National Forest over near Los Olivos. There's an area of the western San Rafael Mountains, kind of similar to this. Lots of grasslands, open grassy hills, and then oaks and pines everywhere. Kind of reminds me of it a little bit, actually. Over near the Figueroa mountain area. I haven't been on top of Figueroa, but I have been in that part of Santa Barbara County. And yeah, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Really beautiful out there too. Grassy rolling hills and peaks. Pockmarked with spots of chaparral and then oaks and pines. Of course, they have big cone Douglas firs, which we don't have here, and I don't think they grow in Cuyamaca Rancho. I think once you get past south of Julian and Vulcan Mountain, they kind of drop out. It's very different here. Very different vibe. Very beautiful too. I mean that in a good way. It's just a different experience. And I'm glad to be able to share it with you. It's always better to experience it in person, but hopefully stuff like this inspires you to get out and check these spots out for yourself, because it's worth it. Yes, I've been constantly hounded by flies. Some of them are really biting pretty hard, but it's still a wonderful experience to get out here and experience these awesome mountains. This is just a completely different vibe here. All right, well, I'll see you up the way before I start filming too much. I'll see. Getting to some older California black oaks. Definitely sustained some fire damage, but persisted. Look at that. Wow, these are some decent sized black oaks. Quercus kelloggi. Wow. Yeah, something. Look at the old burls on the outside of the trunk of this black oak. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Dang! Sometimes they form those little burls, but yeah, these are some decent sized black oaks. Yeah, I think these might be ponderosa pines coming up. I think we got Pacific ponderosas upcoming. Now the bugs are really bad. Ooh. Oh, they're worse than they've been in a while. You'll see them probably flying a lot in front of the camera now. Now, this trail's really mellowed out. Well, pretty soon I should be able to start identifying them. I mean, we have both ponderosa and Jeffrey pines here in the Cuyamacas. I'll have a better idea pretty soon. I'm assuming we're going to pass by them. In just under 21 years. Look at these Palmer ceanothus. These things are humongous. It's all ceanothus palmeri right here. These are massive ceanothus thickets. Massive. Oh, and yes, I think these are going to be ponderosas. I get the impression we are approaching some ponderosas. Of course, I'm going to take a look at a cone or two. Maybe not. Maybe these are Jeffreys. Let's see. No, these are definitely Pacific ponderosas. Here we go, Pacific ponderosa pine. Looking at the cone scales, the prickles at the end stick out. The top of the cone scales lighter than the underside. So yeah, these are some Pacific ponderosa pines up here. And yeah, we do have some more incense cedar. Very beautiful. All right. Pinus ponderosa subspecies benthamiana, sometimes known as Pinus ponderosa variety pacifica, and Calosedrus decurrens, our beautiful incense cedar. A lot of these younger pines are actually coulter pines, though. We're coming up on another thicket. Wow, this is crazy how big these ceanothus thickets get. It's almost like you're walking through a forest of them. This is absolutely breathtaking here. No lie. All right. And the trail's leveled out right now. So I think between here and Cuyamaca Peak should only maybe be about 11 or 1,200 feet more elevation gain, I believe. Just like on my last hike, a bug got caught in my throat. Ugh, I hate when that happens. All right. So I think we're going to do is make a switchback away from Japacha, and then we're going to make a switchback right at the junction where I'm going to leave the trail to get to Japacha. I believe is how this is going to work. It's definitely not a direct route, but it is nicely engineered to keep us nice and mellow. Very mellow slope here. All right. See you at the next update. So I'm still working my way up. Not filming as much. There's a humongous Parish golden bush. Erica Maria Parishii variety Parishii. The huge trunks on this one. Yeah, that's a Parish golden bush. I mentioned in other videos, these things can get huge. They sure can. So it's been like this. Occasional pine trees and oaks. Mostly some ceanothus, some Palmer ceanothus here on the trail. So you're going to brush up against it, but it's very soft. It's not like a lot of other ceanothus that's scratchy. This is all tender new growth, so it's all gentle and soft, pliable. We're starting to steep it up a little bit. Nothing really that steep, but for a nice while, it was a very gentle, barely noticeable uphill grade. Probably level in some spots. But we're starting to angle upward a little bit now. Here's another Parish golden bush right here. They get huge here. More of it here. So that looks like it used to be an incense cedar right there. Pretty decent sized one too. Do see some larger, relatively intact trees up this way. I think the trail's gonna it's gonna switch back, I believe, and then it's gonna switch back again right by where I'm going to need to leave the trail to get to Japacha Peak. All right, well, see you up the way for more updates and finds. Not 100% sure yet, but I believe Japacha is going to be somewhere over there. Yeah, bump in the ridge there. I think it's going to be up there somewhere. think I'm nearly at the trail departure point, because the trail, I think, is starting to make that bend. So I'm wondering if I should be leaving the trail around here somewhere. Let me see. I think so, I believe. Let me see. Just go up this a little further and see if there's a sharper turn. I'm wondering if there's going to be a duck route to get up there. We'll see. Take a look around and see. But I'm pretty sure back there is Japacha Peak. I am looking on the side of the trail to see if there's any ducking or cairn. I haven't seen any. I think I did. Yeah, I think that's it up there, I believe. There's a hill up. There was a hill up this way too. Let me let's go up a little bit further. It looked like there might have been a hill up here too. But I did kind of make a U-shaped turn, so might actually be past it now. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, we're going this way now, so I might. It would have probably been premature for me to leave the trail, because now we're heading back towards it. So, okay, good. If I would have left the trail over at that little U-shaped turn, I would have left too early. Probably would have meant extra bushwhacking. So I'm heading back towards the southern tip of the ridge where Japacha would be. Pretty sure it's up there, because it's the last bump before the south shoulder of Cuyamaca starts dropping steeply down to the canyons below. So I'm going to keep on heading up. I'm going to keep looking out for hopefully a ducked route on the side of the trail. I think there might be ducks along the way, so we'll see. Okay, here's a first for me at Cuyamaca. Creeping sage, right here on the burnt pine trail. Salvia sonomensis. I wonder if we got gabbro soil around here. I wonder. I seem to find that plant on gabbro soils. Here we are up about 5,750 feet in elevation. It goes up a lot higher than I thought it did. All right. The fun is about to begin. I believe I'm nearing the hairpin. So I need to look around for hopefully a ducked route. We'll see. This looks like it's going to be some serious bushwhacking. I think this is where I'm going to leave the trail. It's a big old rock cairn right here. So I think this is going to be where I leave the trail. So let's see if I can muster my way up to Japacha Peak. Let's see. Now the bushwhacking begins, folks. I don't think it's a very far distance, but I will have to kind of be on my P's and Q's here. Let's see. There was a big rock duck there. Looks passable so far. All right, ouch. So you at the elbow of that switchback. I can smell the sage out here. I'm trying not to step on it too much. Now, let's see if there's a viable route. God, bugs are really crazy now. There's Cuyamaca. That's my next goal right there. So let's see if there's a use trail or something I could follow to get up this. This is going to require me doing a little navigation. This is going to be a little bit of a feat here, it looks like. All right. Let me see if I can just work my way around this a little bit. Yeah, there's going to be a little rock scrambling over here too, it looks like. All right. Boy. Wow, these bugs are really bad right now. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a toughie to get up here. All right. Yeah, maybe I should have left the trail back there. Not the trail, but the whatchamacallit. Yeah, I'm gonna look around. We got some wavy leaf ceanothus. Ceanothus foliosus, vertifoliosus. Alright, so I'm not really seeing a use trail per se. I guess I might have to walk around and make my own route or something. Yeah. This is pretty gnarly actually. Gotta see if there's actually a way to get up here. This looks like this is gonna be pretty rough. I don't know. Gotta look around and see if I can see something better. This looks like this is going to be a bad bushwhack. All right, try to reassess. There's really no use trail, not that I could find. This is totally a wading scenario here. This might not be worth the extra effort. I don't know. God. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Yeah, this is actual full-blown bushwhacking now. Yeah, there's no way through this. Shucks. Oh man. Yeah, it's all walled off. This is not going to happen, I don't think. Nah, this is basically impenetrable from this angle. I might go back to that one little rocky outcropping area and look around one more time. Maybe continue further on the side of it. But yeah, this is beginning to look like exercise in futility. Exercise I don't feel like doing. So I'm going to go back through this little path, little passageway here. Back to those rocks over there and see if I can reassess. I think first I'm going to sit down and take a break. I was going this way. I think every foot of this looks like a total, basically impenetrable thrash fest. I really don't see a way up there. Alright, well, I'm going to take a break first. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to make the executive decision to forego Japacha. Very disappointed. I thought there was supposed to be some kind of a use trail to get up there, but I don't see any. I'm pretty good at finding my way around things. I am not really willing to thrash through this really thick chaparral here. I am not willing to do that. It's not the safest thing to do. I mean, if we were wading, like small wading, I would have to, just be careful and keep my eye out for snakes and stuff. But it'd be a lot more likely to be surprised by one in full-blown chaparral. A lot of that is just completely impenetrable. At least for me, I would consider it impenetrable. So I don't think I really want to push it too far. I've tried a couple different spots, and each one ended up in a wall of chaparral that was mostly oak chaparral, mostly canyon live oak thickets, and those things are really basically impenetrable. And I tried a couple different approaches. Like I said, here's a big rock duck right here. I think that's the duck that you're supposed to see. We're going to leave the trail, but like I said, I'm looking around and I don't see any way. If you were a deer or a bobcat or something, yeah, you'd be able to get up there, but I just don't really see any hope of getting through this. Kind of disappointed. I am disappointed, I'm not going to lie. There's definitely no route that I could see getting up there. I think I started going up this way, and then it immediately becomes a thrash fest. And like I said, further up, it's going to be canyon live oak. And oaks are very hard-wooded plants. Oaks are not easy to bushwhack through. So I guess I'm going to have to leave it alone. Kind of disappointed. I was hoping to make a 3-peak day out of this. Get to 2 peaks I've never been to before, and then Cuyamaca being my last summit climb of the day. Ah, man. Very disappointed. So I'm just going to stay on trail, follow this up to Lookout Fire Road, and make that final steep push on the paved road to the summit of Cuyamaca. Alright, well, see you along the way up. Alright, so I'm on a relatively cruisy part of the Burnt Pine Trail right now, and it looks like I'm getting close to the conifer forest. Already starting to see some more pines, incense cedars, and even some white fir starting to show up. So we haven't gained a lot of elevation since my Japacha attempt. So I'll just have to label that as an attempt in the title. I am very disappointed. Really wanted to try getting up to that little knob on the right above the south brow of Cuyamaca's Ridge. That was a pretty big incense cedar. It used to be. So it leveled out. Now we're going to start. Looks like we're going to start climbing up again. Still have probably about 750 to 800 feet of climbing left before reaching the summit of Cuyamaca, pending no downhills along the way. But we are starting to enter one of the last vestiges of conifer forest left. The original conifer forest over here. Yeah, the bugs have really gotten worse. We are entering a nice forested patch right now. All right. Looks like some more ponderosas up ahead. All right. Keep you updated on my progress. Still got a little ways to go, but hopefully it'll be more in shade soon. All right, see you up the way. Yeah, so we're starting to get some big pink-back manzanitas up here too. Yeah, we're entering some ponderosa forest right now, and coulter pines still too. Started noticing some sugar pines popping up too. So yeah, will be sugar pines. Very beautiful. Hopefully this goes into the shadier forest pretty soon. I mean, it's not exceedingly warm outside, but the sun is raining. That's predominantly ponderosa. I haven't seen any Jeffreys yet. I don't think. Oh, it's nice and shady over here. Ah, it's so beautiful up here. Very beautiful. Just wipe it off a little bit there. Wow. But yeah, the bugs are terrible right now. All right. Keep on going. And going. So I'm at another intersection here at this little switchback. Still the burnt pine trail. What I could do, I could get to the Lookout Fire Road this way, 0.5 miles. That's the Conejos Trail. You can access that on the way on the other side too. From I think the Azalea Glen Trail or Road or something like that. When I did Cuyamaca last year, I could go this way to the Fire Road, or go this way on the Burnt Pine Trail again to the Lookout Fire Road. This will probably be the better option, because I think if I take the Conejos Trail over to Lookout Fire Road, I'll have a little bit longer to go to get to the peak. I think if I come this way, I won't have to go around as much, so I might be able to get to the peak maybe more quickly. So I'm going to take this. Hopefully it's going to lead up into that forest soon. I like to get in some shady spots. So we'll see what happens next. We're getting a lot of conifer action coming up. All right, Had my first up close of a sugar pine today, right there in the middle, Peninsula Bertiana. Definitely be more up ahead as I keep climbing. But yeah, and white fir. Popping in more now too. All right, here we go. So looks like we're on a series of switchbacks. I can see where the towers are. Just up that way. So I'm wondering if maybe the Conejos Trail might have been a shorter option. Just wondering. But here we are. Here's a nice older ponderosa right here. Beautiful tree. Flat top. There's wide, yellowish brown bark plates. Pacific ponderosa pine. Very nice. It's very beautiful here. I got a huge swarm of flies on around my head now. Oh boy. Looks like we got another switchback coming up. Alright, well, keep posted. Less than a mile to go to the peak. Come across a nice population of buck lotus here on the Burnt Pine Trail. Big population of it. Hosacea crassifolia, variety crassifolia, and bloom up here. There's a whole wall of it right here. These are the seed pods, the legumes. When they're ripe, past ripen, and dried out, they'll split open. Yeah, we had a lot of Hosacea crassifolia, variety crassifolia, along this upper portion of the Burnt Pine Trail. Really neat. A lot of it here now. There we go, sugar pine time. Sun glare there a little bit, but yes, we got sugar pine up here. Just heard a red-tailed hawk screeching up in the... There we go again. Probably won't be able to hear it on camera. But it's a solitary screech. I can't make that sound. The Stellar's jays are going crazy right now too. And more blue elder up here too. Yep. Ah, it's so mellow now. It's a nice easy walk right now. There's a little bit larger sugar pine. I think all the largest sugar pines here are gone, but we still got some older ones here. Nice, beautiful sugar pine right there. Yeah. Last few hikes have involved some awesome sugar pine action. Yeah, this one's definitely an older one. Has a pretty decent girth to it. It's definitely a well-established adult. And we got more sugar pine as we go down here. Yeah, we've got to be finally above 6,000 feet by now. So I've done quite a bit of climbing. Done probably at least 2,200 feet of climbing by now to get up to where I am. Still have a few more 100 feet to go to get to the top. Yeah. Yeah, the fire wasn't as bad over here, thankfully. I don't think it's gonna be much longer before we're at Lookout Fire Road. There's a pretty big sugar pine in there. Not extremely tall, but it definitely got some girth to it. So we're coming up on it right now. Not an extremely tall one. I've seen this tree before. Usually from a little bit further up on Lookout Fire Road. This one's got some age to it. Wow. Very nice. I'm just about to the Lookout Fire Road. It's right around this little curve here. I think I'll take another final break because the last part of this is going to be steep. Lookout Fire Road is very steep. So I'm going to go try to get some more energy reserves. Here it is. Less than half a mile to the peak, I believe. Yep, 0.4 miles. Less than half a mile to the peak. I'm going to go find another spot to kick back for a few minutes. And I'll start working my way up. Probably about 6,200 feet by now. Alright, catch you on the next clip. So yeah, I think actually taking the Burnt Pine Trail was actually the shorter of the two options when I came to the junction with the Conejos Trail. Because what would happen was I would have joined Lookout Fire Road further down that way at a slightly lower elevation. So I think I made the right call. If I want to add on more mileage, this is already going to be a pretty decently long hike as it is. This will probably be the longest hike I've done in years. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being more than 12 miles, 13 miles, possibly. All right, well, I'm on the fire road now. I'm just going to kind of just putz my way up the hill. I'm not going to rush this because this is the steepest part of the hike right here. So I'm just going to go cruise it. Yeah, looks like we've got a Pacific dogwood coming up. Yep, here's a Pacific dogwood. I don't think this one bloomed this year. This is Cornus Natalii. Oh yeah, it did. I can see up there is where there used to be flower bracts and little flower heads. So it looks like this one did bloom. So yeah, Cornus Natalii. So I started, it's not done yet, it's gonna be a while. I started a spotlight video on Pacific dogwood in the San Bernardino Mountains. Hopefully this fall I can finish it off. Start off with what the flower heads look like, with the little flower clusters and the bracts, beautiful white bracts. So hopefully I can finish it this fall and release it sometime in October or November. But yeah, here's another older sugar pine right here. Another older tree. Lots of younger sugar pines. Lots of incense cedar, white fir. I love this mixed conifer forest up here. It's kind of that montane or Sierran mixed conifer forest that we get to enjoy here in the higher elevations of San Diego County. And I'm on my way to the second highest peak in San Diego County. Hot Springs Mountain being the first, which I have not visited yet. But, alright, well, still working at it. So I'll see you when I get near the top. Here we are, just about 6,300 feet. Just like last time. This is still the highest place I have ever seen western poison oak. Kind of surprising to see it this high up. Last time I was here, I remember looking at some little oak sapling near a rock, and as I was kind of just touching the branch of an oak, I saw what looked like, suspiciously like poison oak. And yes, there was a western poison oak plant growing in there. So yeah, that's Toxicodendron diversilobum. Yep, even above 6,000 feet here at the summit of Cuyamaca Peak. You gotta watch out. Here's more of it right here. This little patch of poison oak right here. Normally when we get up to this elevation, it's usually not a factor. In fact, here's a little oak sapling in question. Yeah, there is poison oak in there. Not related to the actual true oak. So we're about 6,300 feet. A little over 200 feet more to gain. And then should be there. All right, more climbing. Also from last time, another plant you got to look out for. Poodle dog bush. Remember this one from last year, now it's blooming. Areodictyon perry. It's another plant you do not want to touch. Well, I'm nearing the summit. I know I'm getting there by this one sugar pine right before the switchback. That's how I usually can tell that I'm almost there. In fact, the towers are tantalizingly close now. See, the towers are really close. So I just got to keep ambling up this. I've been just kind of just walking baby steps. Like I said, the last push on the Lookout Fire Road is always the hardest. So, towers are up there. I'll have to make a quick little scramble between the sets of towers. There are a couple sets of towers. Between them, there's a rocky outcropping that leads you to the peak. So, basically see when I'm just about there. Alright. What I have to do is kind of scramble my way up these rocks here. There's going to be a little element of bushwhacking. Probably go up this way here. The high point is going to be over there. I don't know why I said sets of towers. There's one set of towers. I don't know why I just said that. Here we are. That's the Cuyamaca Peak area. Like I said, I just got to go climb up this small mound here to actually get to the actual peak. But yeah, pretty cool to be up here. Go find a place to put my pack down, so I'm not going to carry it up the hill with me. Enjoy some bitter cherry, prunus and marginata right over here. Yeah, what a cool view up here. It's pretty hazy off in the background towards the coast, but we'll still point out some views. All right, I'm gonna go put my backpack down and make the last push to the summit. Guessing I should just start scrambling up class 2 through these rocks. Shouldn't be a ridiculously long trek, but go ahead and scramble up this a little bit to get to the actual peak itself. Just a small little rock scramble, nothing major actually. And then a little minor bushwhacking. But the first time I was up on Cuyamaca, I didn't actually do this part here. I went up to the towers and to that other spot. didn't actually think to come over here. All right. So we have to kind of look around. I think where the high point is. I think it's over here somewhere. If I remember correctly. I think it's over here. Just gotta watch where I go because a lot more oak branches in the way. I think I'm near the top right now. I think I'm near the peak right now, I think. I think this is it over here. Should be it here. Yeah. Alright. This is it. Cuyamaca Peak. 6,512 feet. I'm not going to try to go whack my way around over there. Oh boy. Yeah, it's a pretty decent haul getting up here. Coming from Green Valley Campground. It's definitely a pretty difficult way to get up here. Not going to lie. Definitely not going to lie about that. I thought there was supposed to be a little wooden sign up here somewhere. I just got to worm my way around this a little bit here. Well, maybe not. Oh, this is it, all right. This is the peak. 6,512 feet. Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. This will be my third time on Cuyamaca. My second time on the actual summit rocks. So the first time I was here, I hung out over by the towers, just over there, and then went over here. So, yeah, I don't think there's a summit sign up here. Sometimes, a lot of times people steal them. I don't even know if there's a summit register up here. Well, I don't feel like it's thrashing through Canyon Live Oak. This is good enough for me. Yeah, this is Cuyamaca Peak, everybody. Start pointing out a few views from this point of the summit. Start by looking north. You can see a lot here. Middle Peak. This is the last time I did Cuyamaca. I did that one first. North Peak. Cuyamaca Lake is down there. And I can see the San Isidro Mountains in the haze. Then the San Jacinto Mountains even further in the haze. Hot Springs Mountain over there. That's the actual highest point in San Diego County. It's 21 feet higher than Cuyamaca. Then there's the Vulcan Mountain Range. That's looking down towards, I think Santa Isabel. I think Santa Isabel's down there. Of course, Palomar Mountain, as we're starting to switch it more to the north. And then more towards the northwest, we can see some of the foothills of the Cuyamacas. You go a little further, probably less than a half a mile from here westbound, which means you'd be scrambling down this crazy steep slope. You'd be in Cleveland National Forest, because Cleveland National Forest comes up against Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. In fact, where we are, it's basically a dividing line between two districts of the Cleveland National Forest. South of the line is the Descanso Ranger District, which is the southernmost district in the Cleveland National Forest. And then you'll have the Palomar Ranger District, which goes all the way to Palomar Mountain, then the Agua Tibia Mountains, Agua Tibia Wilderness, and that's the middle of the three. And the furthest northern one is the Trabuco Ranger District of Cleveland National Forest, which straddles Riverside and Orange County in the Santa Ana and Elsinore Mountains, and the Santa Margarita Mountains too. So let's go ahead and swing it around. It's going to be tough to pick it out in the haze, but I can see the Powell Range, Woodson Mountain, North Iron Mountain, Iron Mountain. You're not going to be able to see it on camera too well. You might be able to barely see El Cajon Mountain. I can see it pretty well, but in the camera frame, El Cajon Mountain would be over there, and that's looming over Lakeside. And then we're swinging more towards the southwest now. We got Viejas Mountain, of course. Been up there twice. That's a really cool peak. I was admiring it along Interstate 8 on the way up here, going through Alpine. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and take my summit selfie, and then I'm going to have to go down to that side to get the rest of the view, interpretive viewpoints. Before I do that, I always want to get to this small summit here, which is it's a relatively gentle area, part of the North Shoulder of Cuyamaca. It's called Cherry Flat. The area is called Cherry Flat, and there's a high point that's about 6,280 feet or so, which should be that point right there. The last time I came up here after I did Middle Peak first, I was going to try to break trail along the Conejos Trail where it joined the Lookout Fire Road. I was going to try to do a cross-country route to see if I could get to the high point there. Cherry Flat's listed on the topo maps, but it's not listed on Peak Bagger. It's the spot elevation's not there. It's just a 6,280 foot elevation ring around the top of that hill. So I'd say it has probably about 130, 150 feet of prominence. Of course, Cuyamaca taking the prominence win by far. This is a very prominent peak, actually. Cuyamaca is a very prominent peak. The nearest higher point is, you have to go all the way to Hot Springs Mountain near Warner Springs. That's quite a distance away, so Cuyamaca is definitely one of the most prominent peaks in San Diego County. It definitely has a very high amount of prominence. I don't know the exact amount of prominence it has, but it is a very prominent peak. Let's put it that way. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and migrate back down to the road. Scramble through this little bit of rock here. I can see the Lookout Fire Road just down there. It's not a lot of bushwhacking. If you pick your routes carefully, you can get up here relatively easily. So I'm getting down a little bit easier to have a little bushwhacking on the way up. So I'll see you back for some more viewpoints, and then I'll start getting ready to head down after I take a little break. Let's go take a couple looks out more towards the northeast and east. First off, though, coming down this way is actually easier. There's less oak branches in the way. So if you go up this way, this will be easier. Follow up this way to the high point. I think I started scrambling right over there where I started. Coming out over here, slightly closer to the towers, is a little easier. All right, so back to the viewpoints. So now we're looking over towards Anza-Borrego Desert State Park out in the distance. Beautiful Granite Mountain, a mountain I was going to start planning to climb, but never quite got to it. That is going to be a very tough, almost completely off-trail hike. But that's Granite Mountain, 5,633 feet. Santa Rosa Mountains are way off in the haze, and I'm not going to be able to see it on camera I don't believe. But I can also see Pinion Ridge over in Anza-Borrego. Pinion Ridge is off there. And of course, Whale Peak. You always point that out when I'm in the lagunas. It's Whale Peak over there, another peak in Anza-Borrego at 5,349 feet. And then I just caught a glimpse of Garnet Peak. Let me go over there and I'll show you Garnet Peak in the Laguna Mountains. All right, so that peak off in the center, that's Garnet Peak. One of the coolest hikes in Cleveland National Forest. Great views up there, absolute stunning scenery. And then it's kind of hard to see through the trees, but over there is by Monument Peak, 6,271 feet with the radio towers. Did that hike not even a month ago. Did that with Hayes Peak. So any southerly views? So that's looking more out towards the east and southeast. Southern views, might have to kind of swing around a little bit. Yeah, I think the best view I could get to was Viejas Mountain to the southwest. Well, I can swing it around a little bit. I think I can see Otay Mountain and Lions Peak. In the haze. Kind of off in the haze. Off that ways towards Lions Peak and Otay Mountain. I won't see it too well. But I'm definitely going to be looking for a place to sit down for a while and take a nice rest. Alright. See you on my next clip. Alright, so I've been hanging out for probably about a good 45 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy the tower here. Last time I was here, it was after some rime ice accumulated on the branches of all the trees, and I did not want to come anywhere near this. And have icicles drop off the towers or the trees and boff me. So this is the tower. This is the tower, the main tower. I can usually see it when I'm driving on Mission Gorge Road. I can see the tower up here. When I'm driving Mission Gorge Road in the Santee area. So that's where the peak is over there, kind of off in the brush. I can look a little more southerly now that I'm up here. So I will point out a few views over here as well. So this is looking more towards the south right here. I can see Interstate 8 cutting through the various mountain passes. There's the southern end of the Laguna Mountains. Now, I can see Long Valley Peak over there and some other peak behind it that I don't recognize. And I can see, again, I can see Corte Madera and Los Pinos. Los Pinos on the left, Corte Madera on the right. And in the haze is not going to be probably not visible here on camera, but I can see all the way to Cuyamaca or Tecate Peak, right by the U.S. and Mexican international border. So you do have to work your way around the peak a little bit to get the views, but it's worth it. Very much worth it. So yeah, the peak is right there. The actual high point is right up there. Yep. Beautiful Cuyamaca Peak here in Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. And right on top here we got some blue stem Kekiella ternata, variety ternata. Got a nice little population growing along the cracks and sides of slabs over here. So I've been kind of quietly sitting for probably about a good 45 minutes, just relaxing. I got to the peak right around maybe a little bit before 12. It was a little bit before 12, maybe a few minutes before 12. Right now it's probably about, actually I can look it up right now. Actually I get some signal in the area. Yeah, it's 12:47 right now. I don't have a signal right now, but further down I did have a signal. I did have actually a pretty strong signal. Pretty interesting. Alright, so yeah. I'm going to go ahead and start leaving now. It's just past 1:45, and I got some miles ahead of me. And some pink brack manzanitas. Oh, swallowtails up here. Yeah, these are some pretty tall pink-backed manzanitas. They get pretty big in the Cuyamaca Peak area too. So I was the first one up here, and then a smaller group, and then a larger group came up. And it looked like one of the groups was trying to go to Middle Peak. That's what I did last time. I did Middle Peak first, and then Cuyamaca. I was going to try to do Cherry Flat, but they're planning on adding Stonewall Peak to their hike, so kudos to them. Especially now that it's warming up quite a bit. Yeah. So, time to start heading down. Time to start heading down the mountain. Goodbye Cuyamaca Peak for the third time. And I will undoubtedly be back up here again one day. Maybe I'll, like what I used to do for Santiago Peak in the Santa Ana Mountains in Orange and Riverside counties. I used to, for a few years, I would make a yearly pilgrimage up there. And I hiked it 4 different ways. Each of the 4 times I've been up there, I hiked it a different way. The shortest hike I took up there was 16 miles. The longest was about a 25-mile hike. All day hikes. You can't really backpack in the Santa Ana Mountains, apparently. Though, if I'm making an extra long trip, I'm not going to feel any shame about throwing a bivvy out or something and doing what I got to do if it's an extra long trip. Sometimes things happen. But, yeah. I'm thinking about making Cuyamaca a yearly pilgrimage, at least for now. But I haven't been on Santiago Peak in over just about 6.5 years. No, yeah, almost 6.5 years. Last time I was up there was January of 2018 was the last time I was up there, and I pieced together my clips and pictures for a video on that if you're interested in watching that hike I did from Silverado Canyon up to, I took a Maple Springs truck trail from the Maple Springs Trailhead / Visitor Center, hiked the 6.5, 7 miles up to Main Divide, hiked along Main Divide to the saddle between Santiago and Majestica Peaks, the 2 highest peaks in the Santa Ana Mountains, the 2 highest peaks in Orange County, for that matter. And at the junction, at the saddle, I headed right, took the Use Trail up to a higher portion of Main Divide, avoiding extra switchbacks and stuff on the road. So I took the Use Trail up to a higher portion of Main Divide, and Main Divide the rest of the way up to Santiago, went in reverse back to the saddle, and took the Use Trail up towards the main track up to Majestica. So that was probably about a 21 mile day, I believe. Yeah, so making my descent now. I've already this clip is on a new memory card already, so yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a pretty long one. Again, as pretty as that is, don't pick it. Don't pick it. Well, don't pick any wildflowers here in our state park. Really shouldn't be picking wildflowers anyways. Let them develop into seeds for future generations. But the main reason why I say don't pick that is because that is a plant that will cause an inane amount of suffering. Itching and burning rashes that might last up to weeks and re-erupt later on down the road. That's poodle dog bush, of course. I know I pointed it out on the way up, but I'll point it out again because it's very important that one not touch that plant. So now we're descending Lookout Fire Road, midst of sugar pines, white firs, incense cedars, canyon live oaks, black oaks, and some massive, look at this pink-backed manzanita right here. This is a massive manzanita. This is a huge Arctostaphylos pringli subspecies Japacha. This is a massive, basically a single trunk manzanita. That thing is huge. Yeah, some of the largest ones you'll probably find are in the San Jacinto Mountains near Idlewild, but there are some massive ones here in San Diego County too. There are some big ones in the Laguna Mountains. But yeah, some of the pinkback manzanitas here are absolute gargantuan. Look at all these younger sugar pines. A lot of young sugar pines here. So satisfying to see that. Younger generations of greatness. Yeah. It's actually the weather's really nice right now. It's probably in the low 70s. It's supposed to get up into the mid 70s at 6,000 feet. We're now probably like at 60. We're at 6,300 feet now, and it's very quickly descending. There's definitely a warmness in the air. Gosh, I just can't get enough of looking at sugar pines. Such awesome trees. I have so much fun being around sugar pines. I have some of the ones in the San Jacintos above Idlewild are pretty large. There are some huge sugar pines along the Pacific Crest Trail heading towards Chinquapin Flats and Taquash Peak. There are huge sugar pines over there. But one trail I've never taken in the San Bernardino Mountains is the Vivian Creek Trail. The most popular way to get to San Gorgonio Mountain, which is the highest point south of Alancha Peak here in California. And my friend has taken the Vivian Creek Trail, and he's shown me pictures. You have to have a San Gorgonio Wilderness permit to do that. But he's gone up part way up the Vivian Creek Trail, and he was showing me these absolutely redonkulous incense cedars, ponderosa pines, and some huge white firs, and some absolutely ridiculous redonkulous sugar pines. Yeah, look at this one right here. It used to be one of them here in Cuyamaca. This was probably one of those 900-year-old trees. It was probably over 200 feet tall back in the day, unless it was one of those flat top ones. But if it wasn't a flat top one, it would have been over 200 feet tall. Yeah, the Cuyamaca Mountains used to have the biggest trees in San Diego County, or at least I believe some of the biggest. There are some huge trees in Palomar Mountain State Park and the Cleveland National Forest part. There are some huge trees in Palomar Mountain. I know, I've been there several times, but I've yet to see sugar pine there. I've seen records of sugar pine in the Cleveland National Forest part of Palomar Mountain. Not that far from the state park, but up a random peak, Peak 5696, aka Nucleus Peak on Peak Bagger. There's supposed to be a grove of sugar pines, and I was looking for them. I was looking for them when I climbed Peak 5696 back in 2018, and I did not see any sugar pines. I saw big cone Douglas firs, which superficially resemble sugar pines, but no sugar pines. Some of the sugar pine cones get quite large here in Cuyamaca. Usually they're a little bit smaller than that, but go to the Sierras, these things get twice as long as that. Yeah, pretty decent sized sugar pine cones. Alright, so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be turning back on the Burnt Pine Trail. This is going to basically be an out and back. I don't feel like adding a lot of extra mileage today. Really wishing I could have gotten up to Japacha Peak, but I'm just going to leave that one alone, because it just, from the vantage points I saw, it looked like it would have been nearly impossible for me to get there. And plus, trying to get up there and then still having to hoof it another 1.5 miles to Cuyamaca, I would have depleted a lot of my energy resources. All right, well, I'll see you on the next clip. Time to go down the hill. It was so amazing to look at these tall conifers from underneath. Just look at that sugar pine. Just look at that. It's not an extraordinarily tall tree, but it definitely has got some serious girth to it. It's probably like 120, 140 feet tall at least, but I've seen sugar pines that are over 200 feet tall. They can get significantly over 200 feet tall, but this one's definitely has a flattened top, but I just love looking up at them. It's almost a dizzying experience, to be honest with you. If you look up at these massive, massive trees, it's a great feeling too, I'll tell you. Especially when they get ridiculously tall. And you can see that part of the forest was only partially burnt. You can see some burnt snags from 2003. You can see some partially burnt trees that survived. And then you can see some more trees that completely survived. All right. So here we go. Back to the next trail junction. See you on the next clip. I was thinking to myself as I was hiking down this burnt pine trail that the predominant yellow pine here is, well, the predominant yellow pines, Coulter and Pacific ponderosa pine. I don't think I've seen any Jeffrey pines along here. I don't think I've seen any Jeffrey pines at all. And basically, the three pines up here are sugar pine, which is a white pine, then ponderosa and Coulter, which are yellow pines. I have not seen one Jeffrey pine over here. Now, you go over by Cuyamaca Campground, which is lower, where you'd expect to find ponderosas. You mostly find Jeffreys there. It's just kind of weird. And over in Green Valley Campground, it's basically Jeffrey and Coulter pine, which are your two yellow pines over by Green Valley, where I'm parked, and that's at a much lower elevation, almost 2,000 feet lower than we are. I think I might have dipped below 6,000, or I'm pretty close to it. So I'd say it's probably like at 5,900 feet right now, I'm guessing. Not that far from 6K, but just interesting that the higher flanks of Cuyamaca, where you're going to find predominantly Pacific ponderosa and, well, of course, Coulter pine too. A lot of these are actually Coulters. Actually, most of these over here are Coulters, but back that way, there are a lot of Pacific ponderosas. There's a Pacific ponderosa right there. But yeah, usually expect to see ponderosas lower down and Jeffrey pines higher up, but it seems to be almost like the opposite. Seems to be the opposite here. San Diego County definitely has a different arrangement of flora. But yeah. So our main three pines here are sugar pine, Pacific ponderosa pine, and Coulter pine. But there are places again where Jeffrey pine is your predominant pine. And the other pine family plant we have here is the white fir. We do have some of that still mixing in. We'll have that on and off for a while. It's not very prevalent over here, but we have a non-pine family conifer, incense cedar, which has been popping up quite a bit. And here's a younger incense cedar right here. It's actually a member of the cypress family, so it's not really related to pines and firs. And Big Cone Douglas fir, you got to go a little further north in San Diego County to find that, is another member of the pine family. So yeah, these are Pacific ponderosas right here. These are not Jeffreys, and these are not Coulters. These are Pacific ponderosas right here. Like I said, I don't think I've seen any Jeffrey pines in this vicinity. Again, once you get back down towards Green Valley, you'll see Jeffrey pines. They grow at pretty interestingly low elevations here in San Diego County. This far south, you'd expect them to be mostly above 6,000 feet. San Diego County does not have a lot of real estate above 6,000 feet. Or 1,830 meters. Not really too fluent in the metric system, so maybe I should start incorporating metrics. Because I have people who've watched my videos from other countries. There are some people from other countries who were on the metric system who have made comments on my videos. So maybe I should try to use Google to do feet to meters, because yeah, just to be fair and show that, you know, people who take their time to look at some small following YouTuber from way out in another country across the world, which is quite honoring, quite flattering and honoring. But maybe I could do my part to convert feet into meters, so people from other places could get the gist of the size or the height, the elevation of what I'm talking about. All right, well, enough yapping. I better keep my clips a lot shorter now, and I'll see you down the way. Probably filming a lot less on the way down from this one. Alright, so I've been ambling on for a little while, not really taking a lot of pictures, not really filming. There's back at Japacha Peak. Was hoping to get up there. It's probably only like a 60 foot elevation gain from the saddle, but again, it is just, the chaparral up there is just packed. It's actually a developing woodland because it's canyon live oak. Eventually those things will become small trees at least. So yeah, again, I don't think I'm going to try going up there again. I got to conserve my energy for at least a good few more miles until I get back to the car. It's going to be a while before I get back, so I don't want to be exerting a lot of extra energy. So fortunately, Japacha Peak, at least from my perspective, at least from what I could see, does not look doable without a lot of extraneous effort. It would have been nice to get up there because a peak is a peak, and I like to visit peaks. It would have been nice to visit that peak. There's a little occasional breeze up here. It's warm, but it's not too bad. Of course, I'm going to be descending another 1,800 feet. Yeah, there we are. Beautiful, beautiful creeping sage. But yeah, I'm going to be descending at least another probably about another 1,800 feet in total. Or if I take the same exact path back, instead of that other trail coming up from the campground, I will have some climbing on the way back, which might get over a little over 150 feet. So I'm going to try to conserve as much of my own physical resources as I can. Yes, I'm going to have to leave Japacha Peak alone. I'm kind of disappointed though. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of excited about getting on another peak here. A named peak too. Yeah, we're just about back at the junction. You hear the cicadas stop when you get up to them. Some people think that the rattlesnake's doing that, but a rattlesnake will probably vibrate its tail a lot more hardcore if you get closer to it. Not all the time. Sometimes they don't rattle. But a cicada will stop its buzzing sound if you get over by it. So yeah, I guess I'm going to leave this alone. I don't really think I want to expend the energy to climb up there. It's not really an easy hike, huh? I'd say, judging on my experience so far, and of course considering my own fitness level, which isn't the greatest, but I've been done a couple weeks of some pretty good hiking, so it's not like I'm not able to do it. It's just, I would rate this probably moderately strenuous, just because of the distance and the overall elevation gain is significant. You're going to be gaining at least about a half mile. I mean, like I said, I've done hikes in the past that have gained, not quite, but getting close to 5,000 feet. The Mount Wilson Trail gains nearly 5,000 feet to get up to the top of Mount Wilson. Maybe like 4,800 feet, roughly. Because it starts out about 960 feet in elevation. And it gets up to 5,680 feet. I think the highest point on Mount Wilson is actually by the towers. But that's all private property. But I consider it a summit over on the hill next to the Cosmic Cafe. In that case, I think the high point is like 5,720 feet, and I think it's in the forest of antenna towers on the ridge line. So I don't think you're supposed to go into those. But yeah, overall, yeah, that would be the most elevation gain I've done in one hike, and I've done a few hikes that were over 44, 45, 4,600 feet as well. A couple of those. But I've not done a hike with that much elevation gain probably since 2018. I think it was the last time early 2019 when I did Mount Wilson. So I haven't quite gained a vertical mile yet on any of my hikes. I just don't think I have the fitness for that right now. And with the summer hot season coming, I usually kind of shirk away from big mountain climbs unless we get a break in the heat and I can go to much higher elevation, which means driving all the way up to the San Jacintos or San Bernardino, San Gabriel's. So probably the next couple weeks will probably be coastal canyon visits. So at least I can keep pumping out the adventure videos and keep getting out there and doing stuff. But that's why I'm doing this one now. I'm doing this hike today because I needed to get a big hike in, something over 10 miles round trip. And with significant elevation gain, I needed it. So I'm glad I took the chance today. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but I dropped a coworker off at work. And I work in El Cajon, live in Santee. So I dropped my coworker off and then just booked it. Where I work is south of, just a little, about a block south of Interstate 8. I had to go fuel up though really quickly. So I fueled up, hopped on Interstate 8, headed east through Alpine and over towards the 79, going to Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. All right. So yeah, my shifts at work have changed. I don't come in at 4 o'clock in the morning. I come in at 6 now, so I don't get off till 3. So I drop my friend off around 6, and then got to the trailhead by about 7 o'clock. All right, that's enough yapping for me. For now, I'll see you down the way. All right, so I've been ambling on for a while, not really filming and doing pictures and stuff. Back to these ponderosa pines. These beautiful trees right here. Beautiful Pacific ponderosas. A nice incense cedar there too, of course. Of course, lots of incense cedar saplings over on this side too. Yep, still working my way down the hill. Very steadily, and losing elevation little by little. Right through the Ceanothus palmary thicket. Also, Ceanothus oleganthus, Verde oleganthus is here too. But it's definitely, just look how big these Ceanothus palmaries are. These Palmer Ceanothus plants are so huge. They're just so big. Almost the size of small trees. Look at that. What an amazing specimens. 20 or so years after the cedar fire, these things have gotten huge. It's amazing. All right, well, still got to keep ambling down, so see you along the way. Here we are back at the beautiful woodsy spot. With all the black oaks over here, looking beautiful. A little sparse because they've been through a lot of damage. But boy, these trees are champs. They go through so much. These are pretty decent sized ones too. Especially that one right there. There's always a smudge. The last couple of hikes I've been going on, I'm always finding a smudge on my camera. It's annoying me. I know my Cuyamaca Peak hike, half the video had that one little smudge spot. It was driving me crazy. Yeah, the bugs are starting to get pretty bad again. But yeah, these beautiful black oaks here. Beautiful old trees. And western bracken fern, Iridium maculatum bradypubescens. Been seeing a fair amount of that. And yes, lots of coulter pines. Lots and lots of younger coulter pines. Of course, the occasional mature one that survived the cedar fire. Luckily for it, and luckily for us getting to experience it. Here it is right here. Here's the tree. Pretty decent sized trunk. I've seen some coulter pines with some big trunks here in San Diego County and also in the San Gabriels. All right, well, down I go. Quite a ways more to go. So I'll see you down the way. Just about, looks like I'm at a junction. I see a little post for a sign. Yeah, so I've come 3.7 miles from Cuyamaca Peak over here, so still got a ways to go. So I guess I'll just keep on looking. Here we go with the foothill penstemons again. Yeah, finally got to catch them in bloom. Well, maybe I've seen them in bloom before. There's the West Mesa Trail. Not going that way. I'm going back this way where I came, from whence I came. And there's, in the foreground, that's Airplane Ridge again. That's what I visited first this morning. Arroyo Seco Trail, 0.5 miles. Arroyo Seco Trail Camp, 1.5. This is part of the California Riding and Hiking Trail, CRHT. And there's young Coulter pines again, looking so beautiful. So satisfying to see lots of young pines trying to reclaim this area. Where that foothill penstemon. That's so cool. All right. Yeah, I've been coming down a couple switchbacks. Some of the old oaks up there. And there's that rounded tree right there. Is that canyon live oak I saw this morning. It's willing to bet it has some major trunk bases. Probably has a massive trunk or a set of massive trunks under there. And the little bit I could see, what I can see from here, it looks like there's a huge trunk in there. It might actually be a single trunk tree too. Might actually be a single trunk one. From this angle, I see one massive trunk in there. Yeah, my intuition was right. It might have other trunks on the other side of it, but from what I could see, it's got a huge base. Yep, canyon live oaks. They could be little shrubs. They could be gargantuan spreading or gargantuan tall trees, capable of potentially getting up to 100 feet tall. It's not bad for an oak, height-wise. All right, well, just gonna keep on rambling down and down, and then there's good old Airplane Ridge over there again. So we'll see. It would have been nice to come up here in April when all this was all green. It would have been nice to visit back in April when this was all just brilliant green. It would have been so cool to visit back then. I gotta try this in this early spring. Now that we're in the dry season, it's pretty brown. Not that it's unattractive, I still think it's gorgeous. But seeing it green is just another level. All right, enough yapping. More descending. See you next clip. So as I'm walking down, I've been admiring these southern mule's ears. We're in a nice population of them. There's so many of them here. The flowers, you kind of have to look, the flower heads, you have to kind of look carefully to see them. Sometimes they're kind of hidden in there. But then I went to just kind of admire the leaf. So I was touching the leaf. The leaves are sticky. I've never actually touched the plant before. The leaves are sticky and very resinous, kind of a sweet resin odor. Not a bad odor either. I think a lot of plants that are related, I think the balsam roots are supposed to be very aromatic, the Balsam oryza species, which I think are quite closely related to those. I believe they are. Balsam oryza deltoidea and sagittata are two species we have here in California. I've experienced at least one or both of them possibly in Kern County. I've seen at least one species on Breckenridge Mountain, and I think I've seen the Balsam oryza sagittata in the San Miguel Mountains west of Frazier Park in far southern Kern County. But yeah, I saw some populations there. I saw back in May 2018 up at about 6,000 feet up in the San Miguel Mountains. And then again, I saw a species. I'm not really super experienced with them, but I did see another. It could have been the same species, but it was another Balsam oryza, and that was on Breckenridge Mountain. and the higher ramparts of Breckenridge Mountain. Yeah, I had to stop there because I had to make sure I didn't rub up against the poison oak that was jutting out over the trail. But yeah, I think Wyethia is a fairly closely related genus, I believe. Morphologically, they're very similar. They form colonies. They form root colonies, root clonal. They're just very similar plants. Next time I'm up where the Balsam oryza species are, I'll make sure I can fully identify which species it is, and then hopefully if I catch it in bloom, I'll also get a spotlight video. I've done a spotlight on the southern mule's ears here in Cuyamaca Rancho State Park, by the way, back in 2022. So you can check that out if you're interested in a little more of the information specifically pertinent to the southern mule's ears. But I would love to get a Balsam oryza, which basically means balsam root in Latin/Greek. Well, I don't know if balsam comes from Greek or Latin or neither, but rhiza comes from Greek for root. All right, down I go. See what other interesting things come along. If you come up here at the right time of year in June, enjoy those southern mule's ears. I sure did. All right, time for the next trail junction. Okay. All right. So, came back from the Burnt Pine Trail. Now, so I'm definitely not going this way. Definitely not going this way. So I passed this on the way up. Passed this on the way there. West Mesa Trail to Monument Trail. All right, so make sure I'm going back the right way. Pay attention to your junctions. Pay attention, especially if you want to do a hike like this. Totally doable hike. Even if you're just going to Cuyamaca, you're not doing any of the side trips like Japacha and Airplane Ridge. Pretty doable. All right, well, let's see. There's Airplane Ridge over there. I'm actually underneath it now, so I'm actually a little below 5,000 feet, which I shall be for the remainder of my hike. So I think I have just a little, yeah, about 1,000 feet to lose before, elevation-wise, before I'm back down where I should be. All right. See you along the way back. All right, so I'm passing on the west side of Airplane Ridge right now. Yep, way out that way. Now I'm going way back here. Starting to get right warm. Now there's a breeze taking. Just feeling very nice right now. Feels very nice. Onshore breeze coming in from the west-southwest. Feels really good right now. Well, it did while it lasted. But yeah, still working my way around. I'm right past, almost past the first peak I visited this morning. All right. See you on the next update. Alright, so I'm back to where I left the trail to get up to Airplane Ridge. Right in this general vicinity is where I left the trail. Started climbing up to my first peak of the day. I think I left it more specifically over here, I believe. Yeah, that should be it right here. Yeah, this is the area where I left the trail. Climb up to Airplane Ridge. Pretty cool. Well, I'm gonna keep working my way back. I'm not going back up there again. Once is enough. No more off-trail amblings. Just following the trails back to the car. There's a little subsidiary summit right there too. I wonder if there's a way to climb that. course, curiosity is always getting me thinking about things like that. Oh well. Definitely not today, though. If I can find a way to get up there, that'd be great. But we'll see. Maybe another time. All right. Down I go. Some more. All right. Back at the next trail junction. Let's see. Okay, that's the West Mesa Trail to Airplane Monument. And I just left the West Mesa Trail to Arroyo Seco Trail to Burnt Pine Trail. So I'm going to be going back this way. Back on the Monument Trail. West Side Trail, 1.5 miles. I still got a ways to go, dang. All right. All right, so away I go. Back down the hill. Alright, so I've been coming way down and down and down and down. Not that far from the Harvey Moore Trailhead. I believe that's what that is, if I remember correctly. And there's another trailhead just up that way called Japacha Trailhead. Boy, whew. Yeah, it's definitely warmed up a bit down here. And I'm blocked from the onshore breeze by the east face of the ridge here, so not getting much of a breeze right now. There's California 79 just down below. Yeah, well, hopefully I'll be back soon. I'm getting tired, ready to settle down, get home, and probably sit in the air conditioning for a while. Oh well. See you on the way down. Shouldn't be too much longer, I don't think. Ooh, found some Conchalawa. Some Zeltnera venusta. Right here on the side of the trail. Look at that. Nice little pocket of it right here. I'm still working my way down. Yeah, this is a part of the hike where it feels like it goes on and on, usually on the return trip. I'm still going down and down. Yeah, I'm beat. It's warmed up quite a bit down here, kind of like I figured it would. Definitely ready to settle back and be done for the day. I'm exhausted. Got a beautiful southern coast live oak right there. Beautiful Quercus agrifolia variety Oxyodania. Would I recommend this hike? If you want some distance, yes. On a really warm day, no. Just on a warm day. And today, a nice chunk was actually quite pleasant. Now that I'm lowering down in elevation in the second half of the afternoon, it's warmed up quite a bit. So down here, I definitely would prefer it about 10 degrees cooler, but I don't regret climbing all the way up to Cuyamaca Peak today. It's definitely worth it, I think. I visited Airplane Ridge on the way. Tried to visit Japacha Peak, but unless I can do some research and find where there might be a better use trail that I didn't look, and I'm gonna leave that alone. As nice as it would be to get up there. All right, so we're at the next junction. Let's see. I'm going to see here. So Arroyo Seco Fire Road, 0.4 miles, to Highway 79, 0.6 miles. I thought there was a sign for the. So I'm back on the West Side Trail, by the way. So that's the Monument Trail, and that's the West Side Trail coming through here. But I'm joining the West Side Trail from the Monument Trail. So that was another 1.5 miles since the last marker. So I remember there was a sign, there was a post, I think it might be a little further down, where it said to Green Valley Campground. You can go both directions. Coming from this direction, I came from the connector. I came from the road. Or I came from the trail that was on the right. Coming from looking at it from this direction. So I maybe on the way back, because I know there's going to be some uphill. There was a nice amount of uphill along that stretch, because there was downhill when I was coming out. So I gotta see. I do not have much left in the tank, to be honest with you. I'm tired. We'll see. Catch you on the next update. Here's another sign. Just a few feet later. Okay, West Side Trail. And again, that's the West Side Trail there. Green Valley Campground, 0.2 miles. All right. I'm glad I'm going to be getting back. I am exhausted. Wait a minute, what did that say there? Hold on. Oh, yeah, this is the Arroyo Seco Fire Road. If I go up this way, I think I'm going to have some uphill. Yeah, this is the way I came originally. This is what I was talking about. This is where I came, right here. Arroyo Seco Fire Road, 0.3 miles. And I was looking at this as a potential return. So I'm going to go take this on the way back. So that's the way I came. So I'm going to go down this way. And I will keep you updated. Be a little bit different scenery here. Hopefully not a lot of uphill. I am tired. I don't feel like I can climb a bunch of hills, even little mini hills. Oh, this will be a different little trip. More of that Cuyamaca again. Nice little pocket of it over here too. I'm just about back in my car. Yeah. Oh, this really cut some time. Oh, this really cut me that extra walking effort. Oh, buddy. Yeah, the car's right over there. I thought I was going to have to hike through the campground a little bit. I'll take this as a big W now, because I am tired. I am ready to get in my car and head home. Well, that's going to do it for my hike, I guess. I thought I was going to have to hoof it through the campground for like a 10th or a 15th of a mile. But oh well. I'm glad to be back. I am so tired. Oh yeah, look at that. Quercus agrifolia variety Oxyadania. Big, bad mamma jamma. Look at this big, beautiful coast live oak. Yeah, southern coast live oak. Yeah, the Green Valley Campground's got some exceptionally awesome specimens of this beautiful, more narrowly distributed varied coast live oak. Wow, look at that. Beautiful. Alright, so I didn't even have to walk. So I think I shaved about a half a mile on the way back because I think when I was at that trail split, it was 0.3 miles to get back to Arroyo Seco Fire Road, and I think it was 0.2 miles on the road. Well, I'm guessing this is going to do it for me. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I know this video ended up being pretty long, I can tell. So, I ended up making a little miniature loop portion on the way back. And thanks for watching, and see you on the next hike next week. It'll probably be somewhere coastal where it's going to be cooler. But it's not, yeah, it's probably in the upper 70s here. Not too bad. Oh well. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.